Today, I'm going to dive into that topic that so many women whisper about, but no one actually says out loud. That phrase, why don't I want to have sex with my husband? If you've been feeling disconnected, unmotivated, or even guilty about it, just know you're not broken and you're definitely not alone. This isn't about feeling frigid or losing love. It's about what's happening in your body, your mind, and your relationship. So in this video, I'm going to share 5 reasons why potentially this is happening. And one of those might actually be, okay, yeah, this is me. It might be 3 of them, or it might be all of them. Just I invite you as we're going along to have a look at your life and which one fits in where. So the first one is that you could potentially be stuck in doing mode. When you're constantly in go mode, thinking about the kids, the groceries and work, or emails, your nervous system stays in fight or flight. And what happens here is your body literally switches off from pleasure. So if you're living only in this part of your body, this bit is like, hey, what about me? I want to come to play. But we kind of have to switch it back on. What's happening here is your brain is prioritizing survival, not sensuality. Your sexual desire lives in the parasympathetic state, the one that says, I'm safe, I can relax and I can receive. So if you've been tired, overstimulated, overwhelmed, stressed, living up here, this is probably one of the reasons why. And a little thing that you can do for this is having 1 to 3 minutes in the morning or at night for yourself. It is so easy to kind of wrap ourselves up into the doings of life and what needs to be done, and it's hard for us to have some stillness. But literally 1 to 3 minutes, if you can fit that in somewhere in your day. Of course, if you have 20 to 30 minutes, hell yes, that's what we want, but just gradually starting with something small. In those 1 to 3 minutes inside my School of Sensuality self-paced membership, there is a range of exercises that changes the duration, so you can choose what you need in that moment. And it's probably a little bit easier for you. Instead of thinking, oh, Katie said I need to have 3 minutes to myself, but I'm not actually sure what I need to do. All you've got to do is come inside the School of Sensuality, press play, and I take you all through it. And then if you're quite disciplined or committed to your routine, you can set an alarm on your phone where, okay, I know now I have those 1 to 3 minutes, more if I can, just to be with myself, just to relax. Maybe just to do some deep breathing, a meditation, have a bit of a dance, have a cold shower, love your body, give back to yourself rather than everyone else outside of you. This over time is going to calm this and turn this on a little bit more. So obviously that leads into the second one, is being disconnected from your body. As I said, so many women live from the neck up, thinking, analyzing and planning. But desire isn't mental, it's felt. So when we're actually disconnected from this part of our body, we can't actually feel. So we don't know what that aliveness is meant to feel like. Studies show that women who regularly engage in mind and body practices like breathwork, dance and sensual movements experience higher sexual satisfaction and connection. Not because they're doing more, but because they're feeling more. And this isn't about forcing yourself to want to have sex with yourself or with your partner. It's just gradually building a new relationship with your body, something that really gets you to feel. So if you're not someone's like, what do you mean we've got to feel? I don't want to feel those emotions. That is probably what's bringing the disconnect into it. When we feel the tightness, the stickiness of emotions, then we can move through that. Because let's say, for example, you're feeling a little bit disconnected because recently you've been arguing with your partner. So this switches your body off into feeling safe. And if you're disconnected from this part, of course you're not going to want to turn yourself on. So are you someone who's disconnected plus having those uncomfortable conversations in your relationships, work or life? Because that is such a big thing that disconnects us from our pleasure. And this leads me into the third one, which is emotional disconnection or unspoken resentment. And this one is so big. If you're holding resentment, if you feel unseen, unheard, or emotionally distant from your partner, your body is shutting it down sexually. For women, arousal often starts way before the bedroom. So throughout the day, like a touch on the back of the neck, a cheeky message, something that's going to ignite desire and flavor in the body, rather than being disconnected, being overwhelmed, being stressed, coming home with the kids, needing to put food on, dropping the bags off. Your body doesn't have that time. And if your partner is constantly nagging you because you don't want to have fun in the bedroom, probably what you need to do is send him his video, tell him the timestamp, and actually get him to come and help you on board with helping around the house, helping with what needs doing. And then overall, it's going to lead to both of your goals of having that intimacy in the bedroom because he is on board with you. If your partner is like saying no to this, doesn't want to grow with you, is not in the mood for it, then you have to ask yourselves, why am I putting up with this? And what can I do to change myself and what I value and desire in my own relationship? If your communication feels tense or there's a lack of emotional intimacy, your body is just protecting you and it's closing yourself off. You can't fake safety and your body knows that. And number 4 is such a common one that I see within women, is like you've associated sex with pressure, not pleasure. So have you kind of grown up and you've always given your body to a man? You felt to have love, you had to give yourself. You had to open your legs. You had to put your body into uncomfortable moments that you didn't want to. Maybe this is associated having sex with pressure because you're doing something against your will. You're doing something that you don't want to. That would be the first part. Kind of within that as well is it's like, what has been your relationship to sex through sexual trauma, through past relationships? Are you maybe holding on to old baggage from old relationships that's maybe still trauma that's sitting there that you haven't yet moved through? If you are navigating sexual trauma, at the end of this video, I'm going to link 3 exercises in the next one that's going to help you move through that trauma. Because if you've got that trauma sitting in your body, it shuts us off, it closes us off, and then naturally our body won't open to sex, never mind pleasure or any engagement, because we're holding on to what we don't need. If sex has started to feel like another task, something you should do to keep the peace, then your body is going to rebel. Desire doesn't come from obligation, it comes from freedom. From freedom of choice, freedom of curiosity, from feeling connected and safe enough to open again. And this basically is why the School of Sensuality is here and why I teach you to feel into your body, to let go of that shame, that trauma, that embarrassment, or maybe someone else's judgment, so you can actually start to understand and love your body fully in pleasure, not pressure. Because when you actually allow yourself to feel good and comfortable in your body, naturally you're going to reignite that desire. And wouldn't we want more of that? And coming into number 5, you're like, okay, Katie, this is great, but what can I actually do to shift this around? The first exercise that I am going to share is moving your hips. So I want you to wake up in the morning and thinking you are your own inner Beyonce. When you wake up or before you go to bed, you're just moving your hips around in the bed. I do have a sensual playlist. You can pop that on below. Of course, the first time that you're going to do this, you're going to feel so uncomfortable. You're like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, this is so weird. I'm just here moving my hips. Like, I feel so stupid. I get it. I totally understand, but trust me on this one. This is something I still do now, and I teach all you girls inside the School of Sensuality. So you're waking up, put my sensual playlist on, or your favorite Beyonce song, and just do some hip circles. You don't have to do this for hours. You don't need to go to be a professional dancer or to a twerk class. You can literally do this for 30 to 60 seconds. If you do this for a week, come back and let me know, and I'm sure you're going to be like, Katie, oh my God, when I got home, I was so turned on, my hips were alive, and I wanted to have sex. When you're moving those hips, you want to feel those sensations. Of course, at the start, you're going to feel numb, probably like a dull gray feeling. But the more you do this, the more you move, you'll probably come into feeling like pink or juicy or pleasurable or turned on or alive, and notice how you feel. And I really want you to communicate this with your partner as well. Not from blame, but from honesty. Just saying, okay, I want to feel close to you again, but there's some things that I need to do to slow down first and implement, and let yourself have that time and space to do so. So if you've been wondering, why don't I want sex with my husband? Which one of those 5 resonated to you more? And what is your biggest takeaway? What are you actually going to implement and change? Because I can teach you here, but if you're not actually changing any patterns or changing any habits, nothing is going to change. This is exactly what I teach you inside the School of Sensuality, helping you reconnect to your body, rebuild that intimacy with yourself, and rediscover pleasure as a way of living. If this resonates with you, hit that subscribe button, keep coming back for more, because pleasure is our birthright and I'm here to teach all of it. If you are someone who felt a little bit uncomfortable when I spoke about sexual trauma, you can reach out and I do guide you through more of this inside the School of Sensuality in the Patreon. You can join a group session, or up next, I'm going to share the video that's going to help you through that chapter of life. I'm here for you and have a beautiful day.